Welcome to Travel Market Life, your companion for industry insights and professional business development. Travel Market Life. Join us by webcast, video or podcast.
Hello and welcome back to Travel Market Life, where today we're going to be looking at buying hotel tech and setting expectations, how to approach your tech stack buying decisions and get the most out of vendors. I'm your host, Ryan Haynes, and today we're going to be talking to Cristina Blaj of Open Revenue Consulting, the founder and CEO of the strategic tech consulting firm that empowers hotels with the most innovative technology and specialized consulting services, connecting sustainable asset management with guest experience, integrating revenue and marketing. With Cristina, we're going to be looking at what to consider when procuring tech, the importance of digitalisation strategy, the key components to identify tech partners and solutions, how to have confidence in vendors, and the disruptive technologies changing tech.
Travel Market Life.
Hi, Cristina. Thanks ever so much for joining us today. So big subject. Now's the time for hotels to really be looking at what their strategies are for the coming years. I mean, we've got all the events, the conferences coming up, and there's going to be a lot of new solutions out there. So, I mean, what should hotels be considering when procuring technology?
Brilliant to be here. Thank you very much, Ryan, for inviting me, and brilliant question as well. I think when we talk about technology, we need to think about a much more holistic sort of digital transformation and the pillars that really underpin that sort of transformation. So technology adoption certainly is one of them, but really setting those clear objectives that underpin technology adoption is essential. In addition to this, I feel hotels really need to start auditing and scrutinizing some of the processes and the changes that are required as they adopt technology, not just go and fit this technology using the same status quo, but actually challenge that status quo. And I feel, people transformation is always so underestimated, but if you don't have a really clear plan and a real strategy for transforming and training people, it could be a total failure adopting technology.
I know it's a scary thing, from a technology perspective, the vendors are always wanting to make sure that the technology is actually being used and used for its purpose. And if hotels haven't actually created that culture around getting their team to embrace the technology and really understand how it can solve a lot of the perhaps problems and challenges that they're having, it's just quite a redundant piece of technology and it's a waste of time and money. And I guess whilst it's great taking recommendations from other hoteliers, you've got to go, well, does this match the type of hotel that I am?
Totally, because there's so many technology out there, but not every single one of these hotels or chains will be at the very same level, right, of digital transformation or digital maturity.
So let's have a look at that side of things then. There's been this huge shift over the last couple of years, not just because we've had digitalization slowly coming into our lives over the last 20 years, but the pandemic really forced that change to have to engage with people on a completely different level through digital and really start to understand what some of the accepted behaviors are around engaging with people digitally. So it is about transformation. It is about digital transformation. How should they look at that strategy?
I think you have to really look at, all of this appetite that hotels would have to adopt technology. They really need to sit down and figure out what are those sort of structural changes that they need to do. And we've seen a lot of them over the pandemic, organizations merging departments, changing processes, and really even reconsidering KPIs that they should be tracking to enable them to adopt a new business model, but also that specific technology. And I think you really have to sit down to understand what is the opportunity that opens up for you adopting a technology. And I think implementing a technology is not a very simple process per se. I mean, some of them are very, very easy and will take you possibly half an hour to an hour. to adopt a new technology, but very often you really need to sit down to design a strategy, a digital strategy, based on this whole level of digital maturity you're experiencing, and what are really those changes, those needs that you have. Are you looking to recover? Are you looking to survive when you emerging, or you going into these digital transformation processes, or are you looking to grow and to scale? So I think once you've kind of determined that, you could really create a roadmap and figure out, okay, how do I get from A to B to C, and what are those milestones that are linked to my objectives? And I think.
Yeah,
Sorry.
no, obviously it's going to be different for all different types of properties. I mean, we've through our series Hotelier's Voice, we've talked to the Setter hotels, and they implemented a whole new PMS that needed to be designed really around the type of brand and the experience they wanted to deliver. We spoke to Red Carnation, who have been going for decades now, and they've been expanding, but they've had to really restructure their entire operations and look at the technology that would support the fact that they've actually cut their staff by 50%. And we spoke to RBH Management, who were looking at a limited service hotel and how they could actually make sure that the team that they had on site could be could be placed in different departments and different areas within a hotel as and when was needed, rather than have specific people fixed to a specific location all the time, offering that flexibility and that those contactless solutions that would enable the guests to self-service. So it does really depend on, as you say, where are you now? Where's the business? What's your commercial objectives? What do you need to achieve? Not in the next few months, but really over the next couple of years.
Agreed, absolutely. I think hotels really need to figure out, through all this tech adoption, how can I really become more efficient? How can I optimize not only my cost, but also the time saving aspect of it? Be more agile, adapt to change much faster, and ultimately all of this will have an impact on the bottom line.
Now, some of the key components then for digital transformation and selecting a tech partner, what's some of your advice there, and what's the approach that you take?
Yeah, I think for us, we kind of sit down with the corporate office or with the hotel itself, and before selecting a tech partner, suppose a specific project, we go deeper into understanding what is really the mission that they're trying to achieve, and our mission is really to grow holistically their asset value. So we look at all these various gaps and opportunities as we carry out, assessment or diagnosis, more of a 360 type of diagnosis that really helps us determine where do we need to make a change, where do we need digital transformation. And I think sitting down with them to designing these sort of plans, these transformation plans, is essential, because this will help you determine how you can create a culture of interdepartmental collaboration using this technology, and how can you then transform the people and those processes that come with this sort of change, and always reinforcing and enabling this tech adoption. So that's a little bit of how we work these sort of digital transformation projects, but also we always have in our mind, how can we unify, reduce the amount of technology hotels need to use, and try unify that technology as best as possible. So everything kind of syncs up under an umbrella of a more integrated tech stack, effectively. So the output of that is that hotels can then have a single source of truth, both at the corporate office as well as the hotel, and it enables a lot of automation. It captures automation of processes that before maybe they're doing a lot of them manually. And so I think it's essential for organizations to scale and to grow using technology. And always what I suggest and I recommend to the hotels I sit down with is, don't just try and do everything at once. Just use more of an approach of incremental cycle, where you have each project and you advance from one level to the next. And as soon as one is complete and is successful, and you've reinforced the value, using the people behind it, it's so much easier to implement the next project. And the last bit, I would say, is how we even look at financing options to back up some of these digital projects. There's various areas, especially with this next generation funds coming from the EU and more, and the national governments providing some of these facilities.
When it comes to some of the disruptive technologies that are really piquing your interest right now, that you think, okay, hotels, pay attention.
All right. Well, I mean, at Open Revenue Consulting, we always sort of focus on growing the asset value of that hotel, and we use a pretty extensive range of technology that obviously meets all these various needs and the digital transformation processes. But we're constantly on the lookout, absolutely, for a new innovative technology to cater for the varied type of customers that we have. I would say there's a few of them that I would like to highlight. So when we start projects, usually we try to go in and lay the foundation of a profitable and sustainable operation as well, a business model that can help transform every asset, all the back end around the properties, and enable not only compliance, because very much has to do with legal compliance processes, but also be able to develop those standards of quality and implement them. And ultimately, both owners and operators and asset managers really need to have, at a glance, the opportunity to understand, well, what are my asset management KPIs and how does it impact my guest experience if my KPI goes up or down in asset management. And ultimately, with guest experience, as we know how important it is, and also reputation attached to it, they can really maximize and understand how they can maximize GOP to increase ultimately the bottom line. But sustainability, obviously, we need a completely separate session on this, but I think, with sustainability at the heart of all the projects that we do, having digitalized your asset management, and it's a lot easier to start creating a corporate culture of sustainable business, because ultimately it helps you in real time calculate, well, what is my carbon footprint if I do this or that? And what are my main sources of emissions, and how can I then start drafting plans to raise awareness, reduce them, and create that whole traceability at all times? It becomes a mandatory need across businesses with all the legislation in place, both European and national. So I think that is essential and sort of quite related to sustainability. I'm impressed every single day with the amount of technology I discover that it's very easy to implement, but it really helps gradually solve the energy crisis, for instance, like, with energy costs soaring and duplicating in the past year, food waste is such a key area. It really is the third largest producer of carbon globally, worldwide. So I think hotels need to think of compact technology, that they could use to start driving that circular economy and more of that renewable sort of energy, converting, for instance, the organic waste into green electricity and green biogas. So I think, there's a lot of technology out there that really helps them, reduce their carbon footprint, which should be essential across all departments and across the branding, the marketing brand. And if we do talk, sorry, go ahead. If we do talk about marketing, branding, and the whole of the guest journey is such an important area. And there's so much technology nowadays that really helps hotels connect with the customer at a much deeper level than they used to, and really feel much more aligned, and they expect that technology can now read what are their needs, They expect personalized content. At least 70 to 80% of consumers nowadays expect personalization. But also, they don't want to be bombarded. They just want to see what is that relevant offer that is aligned with, for instance, their booking window and their geography and their search and booking behavior. So a lot of this new technology, if you like, it's called Rev Marketing Automation, RMA, and that really brings the marketing and revenue teams together to give visibility to the revenue strategy in the hotel website. So when a hotelier, when a guest enters a website, it's so much easier for them to see the persona type of content that's relevant to them as opposed to what everyone else is doing.
So definitely, I mean, three key areas there, and there are obviously so many other areas that you could actually explore around the disruptive technologies that are enabling hotels to perform and operate much better. And I know you're going to be out and about. You're going to be at a series of events and conferences coming up. You got the annual hotel conference in October, where you're going to be exhibiting, as well as participating as a partner within the hospitality marketplace. Do you want to tell us a bit more about the hospitality marketplace?
Yeah, Hospitality Marketplace is a brilliant platform for driving innovation and really connecting the hotel sector with the tech providers. And instead of you having to walk the floors of all these international trade shows, which comes with a lot of expense and a lot of time consuming and draining energy, although it's rewarding meeting people, and we do wish to go back to it, but it's an easier way for companies nowadays to be able to drive that sort of brand visibility and show what is new in their innovation kit. So that's really how we welcome tech providers to join us for a 4-day episode, where we target very key areas. So we talk about what is the latest rev maximization technology, as well as distribution. What technology do I need to power up my direct bookings? And ultimately with operations sustainability, which is really the cornerstone of us delivering the right experience to the customer. We've created dedicated episodes for that. And in addition, we've also, we don't just want tech providers sitting there and talking greatly about what they do, but we want the angle of the hotelier. So we've created a panel of judges, of seasoned hoteliers from across all these various disciplines that will be sitting and listening to those pitches, if you like, innovation pitches, and they'll have an opportunity to connect, and they'll have an opportunity to really talk about their trials and errors as well. So don't miss it. It's 15th, 16th of November, 22nd and 23rd of November, from 5 p.m, streaming live in LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook.
Great. And I'm going to put a link in the description. So check down there, as well as a link to Cristina and Open Revenue Consulting. Cristina, thanks ever so much. I know we've got a few more conversations coming up with you because we are going to be a media partner of Hospitality Marketplace. We're going to be at the AHC with you as well. So we look forward to continuing this conversation to help hotels and the industry really better with the procurement side of technology. So thanks again.
Great pleasure. Thanks so much, Ryan.
That was Cristina Blaj from Open Revenue Consulting. How to approach your tech stack buying decisions and get the most out of vendors. Certainly be thinking about how your budgets are looking and what technology you really need to embrace the market opportunities that we have over the coming couple of years.
For more, go to Travel Market Life. The music sensation by Zach Nelson is reproduced under license from Storyblocks. Travel Market Life is a Haynes MarComs digital marketing agency production, serving the travel and technology industries.